Everybody, welcome to this week's Kis Spot. How are you this week? Are you enjoying our beautiful spring sunshine and being outdoors? What's your favourite thing about being outdoors? William says his favourite thing is the sunshine, but maybe you might like the trees. So this September is the season of creation, which is celebrated by a lot of churches around the world. So I thought this next couple of weeks we might think about that too. And this Sunday is Forest Sunday. So we think about all the things that trees do for our planet. So they produce oxygen, so they help us to breathe, they give us air. And how can we also help protect the planet and protect trees, help to plant more trees, help to protect forests and look after the world so that it can look after us. And maybe we can do things like recycling. So I've got a craft for you guys for this week, and it can involve recycling a jar that you might have in your house. So I found an old pasta sauce jar, and then I also went for a little walk and I picked up some of the winter leaves which were still on the ground, and I used them to decorate the jar by gluing them on there. And then you can put a candle inside and you'll be able to light it with the help of an adult and create yourself a little candle holder that you can use outside or in your room. And you could also possibly use it as a gift for Father's Day or for someone that's important to you in your life. And that's a nice little craft that you can do for this week for Forest Sunday. And it also may remind you, hopefully, of the burning bush story from last week where Moses met God in the burning bush. And God gave Moses a task to go and free the people of Israel who are being treated very horribly in the kingdom of Egypt by the Pharaoh. And so just to continue that story now for this week, if you want to stay here for some story time, we're now at the point where Moses journeys back from where he was looking after the sheep in Midian, and he goes back to Egypt to try and free the people of the Hebrew people. And what happens is that he and God try to give Pharaoh a lot of chances to just start treating the people better in that country. And they give him a lot of chances, but Pharaoh's heart, it says here, is like stone. So each time he's not moved by any of the things that God and Moses try to do to persuade him. And they actually use nature. So nature kind of helps them to rise up in a revolt against Pharaoh to try and change his mind. But what happens is when the people start trying to be free from slavery, Pharaoh actually starts treating them more badly, and that's when God decides to start doing some things to show God's power is greater than Pharaoh's, but Pharaoh doesn't listen. So God does things like helping Moses to send some plague, so the river turns to blood. The frogs come out of the river because they can't be in there anymore, and they start hopping around everywhere. And Pharaoh says to Moses, please tell God to stop sending these frogs and stop these frogs from jumping around. And so Moses does that, but then Pharaoh goes back on his word straight afterwards. And so then there's another plague where some flies come, and then there's another one where there's lice everywhere. And each time Pharaoh will say, please tell God to stop doing this. And Moses will do that. And then Pharaoh just changes his mind again as soon as it's over. So anyway, these all escalate because Pharaoh's not paying attention. And ultimately Pharaoh does agree to let the people go once things get so bad off that he has no choice basically but to agree to let the people go. So anyway, have a read of this story and maybe have a think about what it would have been like to be the people of Egypt as well as the Hebrew people. So when these plagues were coming, what would you be thinking about Pharaoh? And wouldn't you want Pharaoh maybe to change his mind? Or what would you think when all the frogs started hopping around or the river turned to blood? And for teenagers, maybe also have a think about what this might have to say to us about things in our world. So maybe things like climate change and how our leaders don't necessarily want to do anything about things that are happening where the temperature's getting hotter or we're having more extreme weather. And how does this link into this story where the things that are happening in nature just start escalating? So yeah, it's a good story to think about as a family. And next week we will be getting on to the point where the people of the Hebrew people are actually able to find their freedom and flee Egypt. So look forward to that before we end the term soon. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care, guys. Bye.